All
Hello,
right.
this is Koa and Ando. We're going to be talking about the Canadian Trucker Freedom Convoy and more. So hit us
So
off.
yeah,
What are you?
so I
What's on your radar?
all right. Well, as you know, I work in the trucking industry. I'm actually at a truck stop right now. And by the way, if I'm sure that not everybody's a trucker out there and has never done this before, uh, but you have been to a truck stop most likely. And I will say the two worst people at picking up after their dog are truckers and RVers, and that's pretty much everyone who brings their dog to the truck stop. So you have to watch out for landmines out here. It's pretty bad. Anyway, in regards to the convoy, um, they should be arriving today, or they probably, I'm sure by now they've already arrived. I haven't gotten any news, as in the news has been real cagey about this in Canada. In fact, they're saying that the truckers are protesting bad roads, and that's really funny because you know about the Pittsburgh thing yesterday, right? Well, like in Pittsburgh, uh, uh, Zombie Joe shows up in Pittsburgh, or I guess you call him King Brandon. So King
Oh,
Brandon shows up in Pittsburgh, and a freaking bridge crashes and injures 10 people. So
really? I didn't hear about
I
that.
don't know this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it kind of punctuates their point, as in like, oh, we need this infrastructure and all that. And so I'm sure that Canada is probably going to try to do something along those lines. Everybody knows that Trudeau is a snake in the grass, and uh, he wouldn't have gotten reelected if he didn't have so much opposition. So there was two, maybe three parties running against him, and they both got a substantial amount of votes, but it wasn't enough to knock him out. So, but more people in Canada are opposed to Trudeau than than he makes it sound like. And man, if you saw his speech the other day, the guy is totally slimy. Um, anyway, as we know, well, I don't know if some people know this, but you should know this. You own yourself, you own your body, and the state, a corporation, nothing else should be able to tell you what goes in and out of your body. It is insane to me that that's even something that we're talking about in 2022. So I don't want to take the poison death shot, and I don't think you do either. But some
Nope.
people are embracing it, and some people love it, and they want to take as many jabs as Zombie Joe tells them to. It's really not even him; it's the people that handle him, and we can speculate on who all of those people are as well. But Big Pharma would like you to be injected with whatever they feel like for the rest of your life. So keep that in mind. They're making a lot of money off of this, and the money is being made by money that they printed. So they printed a bunch of money, devaluating every dollar in your pocket in order to pull all this off. So you became less free, and they took a whole bunch of money from you. Everybody should be angry about this because
Yeah.
now they're trying to tell you what goes into your body. Anyway, about the convoy, I think it's awesome. It seemed to have done a trick in Australia. It did something good there. So I'm kind of glad that it's happening in Canada. There's a lot of criticism in my sphere, and I think that's always interesting because like it's not criticism like oh, just shut up, slave, take the jab, do whatever the elites are telling you to do. It's criticism on the lines of things like well, that Elon tweeted recently about this, and Elon has a lot to gain from trucks becoming automated. So Elon has the technology. He's his name, well, the Tesla name. That's not his name. And by the way, he's not using Tesla technology. He just took the name because it was trendy, and Elon's a hipster, and he tries to appeal to hipsters, and that's why he's got all the hair plugs and dates Grimes, who is certifiably a hottie. I guess they're not dating anymore. I don't know. She's baby mama, whatever you want to call her. She's
Yeah.
kind of cool. But anyway, he's got the certain type of people that he appeals to, and I've been trying to explain this to people for a very long time, because they seem to think that he's on our side, because he takes a few positive talking points that that are on our side, but the establishment likes to give us our heroes and they like to give us our villains, and this is an establishment hero. The end result of it is that that my industry is under threat. Automated trucking, and every single trucker I talk to is like, no, they'll never be able to. A robot can't do what I do. A robot don't know when to do this and when to do that. Like, no, what they're gonna do whenever the automated trucks come along. We will be coexisting with them for a certain period of time, but at some point, we will not be allowed on the roads. No one will. Gasoline will not be allowed. It'll be a luxury for the ultra rich. And they'll probably mostly be flying around. Most of the cars will be electric and probably owned by Elon. We already saw the deals that Elon made with Pelosi, and how she got a whole bunch of Tesla stock, and then the next day she signs this thing that gives Elon like an exclusive government contract. Yeah,
I didn't know
she's
about
not
that one.
slimy or shady at all. Oh, you didn't
Oh,
know
no,
about
no,
that?
she's
Yeah,
not.
that's
But and also
oh
her eyebrows are not disappearing into her hairline. That's not happening. Her eyebrows are totally
no,
normal.
no.
She's not getting
She does
Botox.
not
She
resemble a
just
plastic surgery disaster in any way whatsoever. She's
yeah, no, her dentures aren't falling out whenever she's talking, and she's definitely not drunk 70% of the time.
oh yeah, and she doesn't have a really awesome restaurant style freezer filled with $15 a pint ice cream. She does
No,
not
no,
have
no,
all
not at
that Jenny's
all.
ice
No,
cream.
no, that was
Yeah.
a that was
That's a
they
psyop.
spoofed that video. Yeah, it's a psyop exactly.
Yeah. Let them eat cake. Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, yeah. Elon has been a front man for DARPA, just like Mark Zuckerberg. So I don't know if you know this, but Facebook was DARPA tech. It was called LifeLog before it was Facebook,
I did not know
and
that.
they chose Mark Zuckerberg to run it. And so they select the heroes, they select the villains. Some people think of Zuck as a hero. I don't. I won't even. I won't even use WhatsApp whenever some hottie on Twitter is like, "Hey, hit me up on WhatsApp. I'll show you some pictures or something like that." And I'm like, "Whoa, she's a hottie," and she has like 10 or 12 digits after her name. But anyway, yeah, I won't download WhatsApp for that. And anyway, on to this convoy. It's cool to see people doing something, but there is a risk associated with it, and one of those risks associated with it from the critical side of everything is that whenever there are shortages, and there inevitably will be shortages, especially in Canada, with such draconian measures, there will be shortages, and they're going to blame the truckers, and so that is going to lead to the Hegelian dialect of problem reaction solution that is going to eventually lead us to the path to automated trucks. And as far as 5G technology goes, we are so far ahead on automating cars, trucks, all these other things. I'll see my GPS spinning around when I'm driving through a city, and it'll think that I'm in the desert, and I'm just driving in an area that used to not be highway. And so it wasn't highway whenever they made the map, and so the map thing seems to think that I'm out in the desert. But 5G solves all of those problems. And I think that whenever they do get the automated trucks out, there's going to be very few incidents, and it'll be safer than the road is right now. So what they're saying is true. Like, their selling points are true, but I don't want to lose my job. I don't want the rest of these guys out here to lose their jobs. I really would like to push back on all of this technology, especially 5G, because it's so track and trace. They'll know exactly where you're at all the time. They can set up geofences. If you go somewhere beyond your geofence, then a drone can show up and be like, "Hey, citizen, you're outside your boundary." It could, it could tase you, it could kill you, it could do whatever. 5G is some really scary tech, but it's coming, and there's really nothing we can do to push back on it. And 5G, a lot of people, and I'm at first I was like, nah, I don't think that's it, but a lot of people are speculating that the thing that people are experiencing as a virus could be 5G radiation. And I'm starting to come around on that idea a little bit more than I was before, especially whenever you look at the coverage maps of 5G where it was coming out and being implemented, and the rates of so-called infection. So anyway, 5G is coming. Automated cars and trucks are coming. And what can we do about it? I think people are going to suffer about this. I don't think Trudeau cares. I really don't think that he's going to back down, because he's so bought into the system. Like, he is, he was chosen by Klaus Schwab as one of the young global leaders. So, and there's also some other speculation on Trudeau being related to Fidel Castro, which is even more interesting if you know anything about that. Have you heard that that Trudeau could be the son of Fidel Castro?
Connected.
Oh,
Yeah, yes.
are you there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am here. My mom called and is just like, hey, like stop calling me. I'm trying to do podcasts. I did one earlier today. And she called and then
Right.
she turned up. So I got interrupted like 3 times on the other one. But that was like, it was supposed to be an
Oh,
hour-long
gotcha.
podcast and they pulled it into 2 hours. So it was just like, slow down. So I missed the last 30 seconds of what you said. But yeah,
Okay.
no, I've heard that that Trudeau
Yeah.
could be
Well,
a descendant of Fidel.
right. So, Trudeau's mother was kind of well known to get around, and Trudeau's father, I forgot his first name, but he was, of course, the name Trudeau. He was pretty well known as being a cuck, and they were visiting Fidel around the time that Justin Trudeau was conceived. So follow that rabbit hole. It's fun, but it really doesn't make a difference. Like, whether he's Castro's son or not, he's still a tyrant, and he still needs to go. And a lot of people don't like him, and he's also tied in to the World Economic Forum, who is pushing everything that's happening to us. All of this stuff is all orchestrated by the World Economic Forum. A lot of stuff where they're wanting us to blame Russia. They're wanting us to blame China. They're doing the work of the World Economic Forum just as we are. Like, the United States and China both had their hands on the same technology that created the gain of function technology that created this virus. Both of them, they were both doing it. So whenever they want us to blame Russia, they want us to blame China, they want us to blame somebody else, that is just the World Economic Forum trying to get us to fight, because they also profit off of us having wars. And it looks like we might have one with Russia very soon, which is really, really scary. The
We'll touch on
potential.
that. We'll touch on that in a
Yeah.
second. I'm curious because I've looked at the automated driving, and I used to be in the
Yeah.
lawn care business, and I have the option to just go straight back into that to make
Yeah.
money. Like I'm in a flux in my careers essentially right now, and it looks like I got some good news on another contract that we're working out. So I'm in flux, but I've been in a similar area because with lawn care, they're doing automated lawn care thing where you can use a remote control to, just
Yep.
mow your lawn, etc. There's a lot of different things with the lawn care.
They got what's the thing that vacuums the floor called? That They
Oh,
have
the
those for lawns
hover
now.
Hoover, something like that.
Oh no! It had a more Roomba. They have a
Roomba, there we go.
Roomba for lawns. Yeah. But okay, so going back to the automated stuff, you were talking about lawn care.
Yeah, so
Um,
so let me pose a question to you, because you're a pretty strong libertarian on a lot of things, and I feel like you're getting a little bit more into minarchism here.
am I?
I,
Uh,
I
I,
but let me
yeah.
let me just present my argument, and then I want a
Okay,
rebuttal from you. Let me
right.
present my
Okay, I
argument.
already have it, but go
So
ahead.
so essentially, there to preserve freedom, should we not stop the encroachment of technology into everything? Like, should there not be some level of government intervention to make sure that we're not being spied upon everywhere we go? Should there not be some level of government intervention to make sure that we're not losing jobs to automated systems, etc.? Now that goes against a libertarian perspective in
Right.
one way, but on the flip
Well,
side,
it goes
the
each way because that. Yeah.
let me finish on the flip
Sorry.
side. Let me give the other
Okay.
counter argument. The counter argument is that the horseshoe maker and the horse and buggy maker, obviously not making horses, breeding them, but the person who made the carriages, you know, they ended up going and working, building the, manufacturing for these, the manufacturing of cars or zeppelins, etc. And so on the other side of things, if we automate trucks, would you not be flying the spaceships? Would you not be a laborer on the spaceships to Mars or to build colonies on the moon? There's always that progression, and,
Yeah.
and so that's the interesting crux. It's like there could be an industry that is on the way out in the next 5 to 20 years. That's definitely possible.
Of
But
course. Of course.
would you guys not be able to find another job? I'm playing devil's advocate here. It's not like I'm set on one line of thinking and one way to going. I'm just giving the most obvious scenarios that I can think of there.
So, that's what this is about. The World Economic Forum is about the fourth industrial revolution. And they want to guide it, steward it, insert a whole bunch of Keynesianism into it. But when you wash all of their nonsense away, all the leftism, all the rightism away from it, what you find is that it is a combination of both, and it is extreme fascism. That is what they're trying to implement for us. And I'm an ANCAP, and I can't think of anything that's less fascist than an ANCAP. Although some people think that we're pro corporation. I think that we're more anti corporation than the left. But we just don't believe that government is the sword that you can use to keep corporations down. Government is the sword that corporations use to exist. That's the argument right there between left and right anarchists. Right there is like,
So,
if go ahead.
so if from your perspective, technology is going to progress, you are going to lose your job in doing what you're doing. It's going to happen in 5 to 20 years, possibly 50, but it's eventually on
Possibly
the
three.
outs. Well, okay,
Yeah.
fine, possibly three. But do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
should the government intervene to stop that progression of technology? Or do you think the technology
I,
is not there yet? Do you think it will ever be there?
so you're never going to get me to advocate for government intervention. What I would like, because government is being completely utilized in this situation, this situation that we're digging ourselves into, is all because the corporations are utilizing the government and the government is utilizing the corporations. It's a
Okay,
marriage.
so it,
It's
it would be.
fascism. So like,
Let
if
me let me
you
just see.
divided the two.
Let me just see if I get what's going on. If
Okay.
the government was not putting taxpayer money behind it, it would be 40 to
Yeah.
50 years in the future. If the government was not to get involved, it would take a
A
lot
lot
longer for the development
a lot
of
of this is
automated.
coming from corporations. A lot of
Okay.
this is coming from corporations, as in, BlackRock is a big part of this whole thing. Um, BlackRock is kind of stewarding over the ESG credits that companies are to get, and
Stupid
you know
freaking
about
crap.
that, right?
Yeah, that's the
Environmental,
essential.
social governance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if I create a corporation, um, apparently I need to start identifying as Hispanic. Like I am one-fourth Hispanic, but I need to start writing on all my government documents and all this other crap. Like, yeah,
Just
I'm a
yeah.
Hispanic guy. Like my
Take
granddad came here
any
from
advantage you
Colombia.
can get, because the way that they're paving the future is on our backs. Like we're all in the process of being sacrificed. They wouldn't have printed so much money, leveraging the future of 2 or 3 generations beyond us. Like that debt is going to be paid by somebody else. So and have you ever seen them cut back? So it's exponentially going to get more and more and more. In fact, every time now that Congress is talking about funding something, they're always talking about trillion with a T, and that never used to be a part of the conversation. We used to say like 100 billion was too much, and now it's 1,000 billion, and now it's 6,000 billion for the CARES Act, and what was it? 3.8 trillion for the Build Back Better nonsense. So, uh,
So
so
is that
the thing is,
three?
they're killing our currency right now.
Is just you had spoke before in a way that was more understandable to most people. Instead of trillion, three? Is that three
A trillion is
hundred?
1,000 billion.
So that's $3,000 billion.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that
If
would
you want to
be
imagine,
three
if you
hundred. Is that 300 million? No,
the
three.
best way to picture this in your brain, because this is so hard. Okay, you've maybe seen in movies or something like that what a stack of $1 million looks like, right? Now, a million stacks of a million is a trillion.
Has that hit the moon yet?
Possibly, probably. It probably like hits the moon and comes back, like that is a ton of money, and it's probably beyond 1 ton. So I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'd
it's
assume it's
yeah.
above 1 ton of money. Probably like
Yeah,
20,
yeah.
100,000
Yeah,
tons. Like we're dealing with numbers that are so
many tons.
astronomical. It doesn't make any sense.
Sorry.
Like,
Sorry about that.
oh, good. Me and
Go ahead.
my business partner were looking at possibly Monday closing out another property, and we'll make each of us between 25 to $45,000 off of this deal. Um,
Yeah.
it's going to take us 3 months. It's like, oh well, I mean that's me getting
Oh, hold on.
enough to. You look at your thing. I'll finish the thought. That's me getting up to me getting a yearly wage, a yearly salary in 3 months. So it's totally something that I can follow through on. But they're just inflating the currency so fast. It's like we just have to buy something else. We have to continue buying property and seeing, we'll sell and buy and sell and buy, but does a bubble pop at some point? Did you get a phone call?
Hang on just a moment. I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. Um, just a second.
Do you want to? What I was looking to do, because your mic's been off for the last 5 minutes since I got that phone call. Um, Start a new stream on Ukraine because I would like to talk about that. And just we have the trucker stream and then Ukraine stream. Yep, we're gonna go with that, guys. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, talking to a trucker about the trucker convoy over in Canada, and we will uh, do a new video about Ukraine. All right, peace. Bye. Grace be with you.